Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to SKTV. Um, Wherever you are following us from this morning here in Arizona, or on your end, it might be in the night, in the afternoon, or in the evening. For some of you also who are in maybe Australia, and other places in Asia, it is early morning or afternoon or so forth. We want to say welcome. Welcome to SKTV. We are here today for one of our editions. Today is Monday, February the 7th, 2022. We are here to have discussions concerning Liberia. As you are already aware um, of the resolution that is up, we're here to have discussion concerning it. We're also here to have other discussions that you might not be restricted to have when we open the line, but we are here to have this discussion. I want to use this opportunity always to recognize the Liberian people as the most important people on earth. Sometimes people think that it's a joking thing, but indeed it is not. The fact that we leave our busy schedules and other things, and we're here to make sure we keep up with our commitment to the Liberian people at large, that shows that you are important. But most importantly, the Liberian women, the most beautiful women on earth, you can't beat that. That being said, we turn it over to Mr. Kane. Mr. Kane, it's on you.
Yes, sir. So, folks, want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you may find yourself. Whether you are in Liberia, we will say good evening, and we are in Australia or Canada or somewhere in Asia, where it's in the morning. We want to say good morning. For us here in Phoenix, it's 11:15 here a.m. So, of course, it's good morning here. And if you are anywhere in the East Coast, we want to say good afternoon. We want to welcome you once again to SKTV as always. Like my colleague just said, today we are going to be discussing the sanction being imposed on Liberia, the resolution asking the resolution by the U.S. Congress to impose sanction on individuals. I'm sorry, not on Liberia, but individuals in Liberia. Now, to put this into context, now we're going to dive in as to who may be at the receiving end of this targeted sanction. Because if you look at the resolution, it is very clear that those who are engaged in corruption, those who are undermining peace and security of the nation, and there are other things that are clearly highlighted in the document. So it's very important. There might be some people who want to water down the importance of this sanction, targeted sanction. There are people who may downplay it simply because of their personal interest, or maybe they don't want to show any level of fear so that their supporters could be afraid, could be scared, or they might even lose some support. So they may try to brush it off as if it's nothing. But yes, indeed, this is a big deal. So, Steve, we are here. After we have shared the show and everything else, trust me, we'll dig deeper and we will educate our people as to what it means and what it entails in terms of and the impact on our people. So it's very, very important. And I'm here. We are ready to talk about it. But I think it's important for those of you who don't share this show here. We can know that you're not sharing the show. You just come here, you enjoy yourself. You don't want to share with other people. Share the show. Share the show. The only thing you can share is your woman and your man. But everything you gotta share. Even your other money you making, you gotta share. You know, you gotta share everything. The only thing you can share, your significant other. You don't want to buy. Anybody say one share, we don't want what they want their own. But yeah, you gotta share the show. Let other people see it. The same way you want to learn, the same way you want to have fun, the same way you want to get information. That's how other people want to get it too. But to share, that one is hard for you. We probably will not get out thousands and thousands of people watching, So you got to share the show so that thousands and hundreds of thousands of people can see it. Even if they don't see it right away, they will see it on your page in the groups that you're in. So go ahead and share the show. It's very important. So Steve, we are on the standby. We're gonna go to share the show, and we'll be here.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kane.
And then before you do anything, let me just bluff small with my hatai. Since since you
You
missed
just
it.
want me. You just want me to kind of that. All I think when you're doing that for me, just
Yeah, the last time Telco was telling you, so could I even drinking water? Well, I've been drinking I tell you, not liquor. Well, I've been drinking I tell you, they can put me in zeal. It wake you up. It wakes up your brain. It sharpens your mind.
okay.
So
Say you want brain noise now. After the show, I come in there.
no, I'm
Oh, I come in because Saturday you called me. I was sleeping, so I finally showing face. But yes, let's have this conversation. Let's share the show.
But before you start the conversation, though, why don't you call some people and say you recognize some of our good people here? Come on, man.
Oh yes, I agree.
You gotta do that sometime, man. Got a lot of nice people, beautiful people here. Very, 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 very loving people. They love the country. That's why they're here every day. Now, they're not coming here because Steve, you're looking sharp. No. Come on. They're
You're
not
right.
here for that.
You're 100%
They're
right.
here because they love Liberia. So recognize some of them, please.
I know. I don't want to fire in protest here.
Yeah.
Gwen Chance Smith, welcome to the show. Angie Moluba, Angie Samuka Moluba, welcome to the show. Sila Afu Na, welcome to the show. Timothy, now welcome to the show. Is that Zole Wesley? Welcome to the show. Edward Anderson, welcome to the show. D. Sierra Wilson, welcome to the show. Yeah, my man, you know. I'm bleaching, bro. You want help me? Help me, my man. I'm suffering, bro. I'm suffering. Please show me where I can get a cream. I beg you. Seku listening ability, welcome to the show. Ansu Masale, welcome to the show. Who else? Bertha Stewart, welcome to the show. Blama Kamara, welcome to the show. Pram LRB Willem, welcome to the show. Melvin DeShield, welcome to the show. Let's Mr. Kane, let's get this started. Let's play some music. We'll play D12.
But if anybody don't share the show, don't be calling Annie. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, the last person that just said good morning, good evening. You remember that lady? That lady that went to the Liberty Party thing. That lady and her husband, they were flying all over the place like a lovebird, making everybody jealous. That's it over there.
Oh,
yeah, you remember?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
You gotta say hi to her, man. Otherwise,
yeah, I'll come by and say hi to her. And I want people in there that the people said I'm maybe to link to one Liberty Party.
Yeah. She and her husband, they were there the whole time, and then in the morning too, they were there.
Yeah, they were very good people. Very, very good people.
Yeah, they're very, very good people. The White Party got a lot of good people. Except for one person. No, except for two people.
No, me and
all the other people they go.
And I want our other noise.
People me I got problem with the White Party. Two people.
And I want our other noise.
Everybody else the good people.
I say I don't want our other noise.
Anyway. Today we're going to talk about this sanction. It's very important on a serious note. But go ahead, Steve, and what kind of song you want to play? Say?
I want to play D12 in a song, Mr. Kane, to be honest with you. In a song. You can play songs there.
Oh, but the song me want to play, the one I can say, you not see me. You can't hear to count.
Yeah.
You say you not see me. I want me to like. The one I can say, if you can't hear to come cause trouble, go tell them say you not see me. So that all the witchcraft there, and the people then who can come here just to start throwing all kinds of spam and viruses in our system, so they can so they can see us. That's all that beat somebody to us. So that play that one. But please,
Okay,
folks,
yeah.
while we're sharing the show, please go ahead and share the show. It's important. That's what we like. We want you to share the show so you can be part of this platform. Everybody making this platform great. But if you're not sharing, then that's a problem. That is someone when I play our mess guy was say, go start throwing him. Start playing him song. Just say, I mean, I made the song. Come on.
Oh, na 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 na.
Just let people them.
People make
People them.
D12 on the beat.
I know they send you to monitor. Go try them say you not see me, yo. I know they send you to slow me down. Go try them say you not see me, yo. Doubting you. Doubting pinching you, yeah, yeah. You choose to live, you want to live. I choose to live, I want to live. Oh, doubting you. Oh, yeah. Doubting choking you, yeah, yeah. If I'm not making money and not making sense, if I'm not getting bread, I'm not going there, yeah. Get me where, oh yeah, get me where. I'm moving up, I'm never coming down, yeah. Get me where, get me where. I'm going up, I'm never coming down, yeah. I know they sent you to slow me down. Go tell them say you not see me, yo. I know they sent you to monitor. Go tell them say you not see me, yo. Move on, yeah. If you come to worry me, move on, yeah. If you come to stress me, move on, yeah. If you want to slow me down, move on, yeah. You choose to live, you want to live, oh. I choose to live, I want to live, oh. Now I keep pinching you, oh yeah. Now I keep choking you, I got the juice, I got the sauce, I got the feelings the people like. I got the juice, got the sauce, got the feelings the people like. Yeah. Move on, yeah. Tell them say you not see me, oh. Move on, yeah. Tell them say you not see me, oh. I know they send you to monitor. Go tell them say you not see me, oh. Move on, yeah. Go tell them say you not see me, oh.
Just let people them.
Me and me,
Make people them.
from me.
Go tell them say you not see me, oh. Body better than
Me and me,
make people them.
from me.
Go tell them say you not see me,
Super lepe mama, super lepe mama, super lepe, super. Show me a friend, I will tell you who you are. Watch what you do, it might turn around on you. When you point the finger, don't forget to know 3 other fingers are pointing back at you. Move on, yeah. Go tell them say you not see me, oh. Move on, yeah. Go tell them say you not see me, oh.
So, folks, once again, want to say thank you to those of you who shared the show. But before we start, I got to clarify something here. Yesterday, some people brought it up, and I told Steve to brush it off because I know it was very insignificant. But there are people who are dictators. They are dictators. They want to come here to distract us while we are doing the Liberian people's work. So it's important that we clear the air on some of those things. I'm going to clear it just for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll continue with the show. Here is it. Some people came yesterday on this platform and started to throw a jab on Steve, saying that somebody accused Steve of stealing the Arizona Mango Association people money. I mean, Arizona Association, Library Association money in Arizona. As stupid as it may sound, but it's very important that we clear the air on it. First of all, Steve is yet to be inaugurated. Steve was elected as president of the association. Steve is yet to be inaugurated. She is now inaugurated here. You may not in office here. Not let alone to handle money. And besides that, even if Steve is inaugurated, we have financial department. We have people who are responsible for finances. But yet again, the same hate and division that we've been talking about. There are people who are seditious and seditious people's family. I'm not going to call their name, but they know themselves. And maybe if I say this, when I go to the next meeting, please let them confront me, and I will tell them exactly who they are. So those people, they are so angry for the fact that Steve is standing up for the fight and for the Liberian people. They are angry for the fact that Steve is on the show every day criticizing the government for doing the wrong thing. So those people now, they want to politicize the association, now going as far as calling seditious and calling some other talk show host, even as far as paying them money, to lie. How can somebody steal money when you're not even in office yet? Maybe steal your own money. They may not be inaugurated. There's nothing to prove that this man even have access to any money, let alone to steal it. So don't be distracted by that nonsense. It's nothing. It's nothing, absolutely nothing. So do not be distracted. Don't be carried away. Those are the kind of nonsense that people carry around. If they have nothing on you, or we are pushing them to do the right thing and they can't do the right thing, the only thing they can do to fight you is to go and lie on you. So that lie and distraction is nothing. So please, I'm not going to mention any name, but I'm just telling you, don't be carried away by that nonsense. It's nothing. People are just angry. So it means that, it brings me back to what I told Steve before. If you are doing the right thing, if you are making, not only when you are doing the right thing, if you are making headway, if you are progressing, there will always be people. When you see people going at you, it means that you are doing something. But when you see nobody care about you, nobody even mention you, nobody talk anything about you, it means that you need to work harder. So people that are trying to bring you down right now, they feel that you are doing something good. And because they are attached to one or two people in the government in Liberia, or because some people are the trap people, so anything that will hurt them, they will come and go lie about you simply because of the CDC business. They want CDC business. Wait for the CDC going on there. A lot of family will be against each other. A lot of friends, a lot of neighbors. So CDC just here now to destroy the Liberian community all over the place.
Somebody say I should provide evidence against myself.
Exactly. Provide evidence against yourself, like Mr. Kudus now is facing with the
But,
yeah, so
Steve,
Steve, unless you want to throw light on it, but this is nonsense. It's nothing. So I think we should focus. I just want to clarify to the people who are saying this and they know nothing about it because they hear from somebody. So do not waste your time on it.
The only thing I wanted to say is, and I think yesterday I spoke to it very briefly before the show could be over. There is a family member of this is two-way street, two ways attack. There is a family member of one of the representatives in the CDC-led government that I have been very critical of. He lives in Arizona here. He has been raising attacks on our person up to even the Librarian Association constitutional level, raising very, very foolish and childish attack. When you hear someone say, you sit down and say, the people here, they got crazy people among them. Yes, we do have crazy people amongst us. It's official. I want to announce to you that yes, we have some plain clothes Zogos in America. We have some of them in other parts of the world as well. We have some Zogos, some plain clothes Zogos. So all of them will need help. All of them in America, all they got some. But again, like Mr. Kane said, well, sometimes you got to fact check your sources. A few weeks ago, I was not elected. We just took over. We just took over the Librarian Association. Oh, I'm elected now. I'm glad that they've accepted that we're elected. That's a good step. At least we're starting from somewhere. But we'll not waste our time on nonsense. You can go to the sky, you come out. I will not stop. I will not stop talking the truth. Anything you want to do, you'll do it. Anything you want to say, you'll say it. I will not stop talking the truth. If you think you would distract people, you're watching, see, let the conversation get heated and you're involved in it. We are fully committed to this cause and this conversation. You can go pay whoever you want. Let them come and insult, let them say whatever they want to say. We move. And this will be my last time ever speaking on inconsequential people, inconsistent people that you'll take news from. If you go there and they feed you with nonsense, that nonsense. Move on. You want to believe it, you believe it. I will never respond to inconsequential people. I don't care who tells me they respond. I will not respond again. But certain people, when they speak with people who got credibility and integrity, and then you can have a conversation with them. Inconsequential people, I will not respond. I will not have a conversation with them again in my life. It will never happen again.
Let's get to the real deal.
Yes, let's get to the Labrampo business.
I'm listening.
Today,
unless you want me to go, but I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, today you going. Today, we kickstart the conversation. Today is Monday, a working day. The second day in the new week. Yesterday, the new week started. Mr. Kane, we woke up to an information about a resolution. So my question to you now, because today you're my guest on SKTV. You are my guest.
Again?
And yes, you are my guest. Unless Telco wants to join you to have a backup, which of course you will join anytime, any moment. But you are my guest today, and I definitely want us to dig into this. So far, what have you uncovered about this document and what's really going on? And in keeping context with that question, there's something I want you to address quick in that same light, because we want to know who might potentially be targeted. This is going to be a two-way conversation. Who might potentially be targeted, and what does it mean for the CDC-led government?
First of all, I want people to understand our job here is to educate and shine light on a lot of stuff that you may not be seeing or you may not know. And for those of you who are seditious, whatever we're going to say here or whatever we are saying here, it has nothing to do with our personal feelings. We're going to be discussing this as is. We will only connect things as they happen. First of all, Steve, if you ask me who could be affected by the targeted sanction,
Yes.
few weeks ago, or probably a month ago, there was a document flying around. In that document, you heard that what kind of stubborn fly attacking me here? So, your CDC will not send fly to me, or maybe that maybe that you're picking here. If coming in getting wish not to kind of attack me here, you want to allow me to talk to him. So there was this document flying around from one officials to the United States ambassador, to the Labrador ambassador in the United States, to Nathaniel McGill, to Benina Ure, to Costa, and the rest of the people. What happened is that in that document, McGill was mentioned. Then do you remember Nathaniel McGill, who we have a dossier on
Yes, in our communication, I
in
agree.
the past? Dossier means document. Dossier is a French word. Dossier. That's one. So McGill clearly a part of it. Sharina Seifers is a part of it. Because they said people who are involved with corruption. Listen to that part. Corruption. And not only corruption, they say, let me just read that part again so that people can understand. Because they say the call on US Department, let me do that so I will not be reading like my president. Let me make it bigger a little bit so that way I can read the whole thing. Yeah, say, call on the United States, or call on the Department of State and the Treasurer to continue to impose targeted sanctions and other measures against those responsible for undermining the rule of law. Let me stop there first, Steve. Those who are responsible for undermining the rule of law. Do you remember Justice Cabinet Janis case?
Yes.
That was undermining the rule of law. American people are following. These are those who are responsible for undermining the rule of law, which means everything you are doing should be in line with the Constitution. Anything contrary, you are undermining the rule of law. And when you look at that, the president was not physically directly involved or taking a stand, but president aided and abetted everything that happened in that illegal process. Thomas Fowler was part of it. Akala Gray was part of it. In fact, they were the one that created the fake story. They are the one that told the president that they have something that they can use to illegally remove. They told him to legally remove him, but it was not done legally. As a matter of fact, there's something called due process, and the due process was not followed. That is doing something without respect for the due process, for the rule of law. And then they said those who are responsible for undermining the rule of law, as well as the faith and trust of the Liberian people. Listen to this. Because America spent a lot of money in the United Nations, the entire world spent up to close to $3 billion United States dollar to keep 14,000 United States United Nations troops in Liberia for almost 14 years. So that was done not only to bring peace and stability in the country, but to also infuse faith and trust. After the 14-year dilemma, the agony that people went through, they brought those people then to come and stabilize the country so that the people can have faith again, that we can live as a country again. The rule of law will be respected again. That justice will be served again. That every Liberian will be treated equally, irrespective of your tribe, political affiliation, or your country of origin. So they're saying not only you are on not only people that are undermining the rule of law, but people that also being the reason for Liberian people to lose faith again and trust. We are not the ones saying it. Steve, if you go to the resolution, the part I'm reading right now, the one that talk about the sanction, you know, what happened with the flat team, man? They're getting serious. I need to call Echo. I think I need to call Echo more now. I need to call Echo more now. What kind of fly? You not even allowing me to talk. Can you keep distracting me? So when you say those who are responsible for undermining the rule of law as well as the faith and trust of the Liberian people through what? You know how they are doing it? See, through what? Through, let me make it big again. Through the conduct of corruption. Through, he said, the people who are undermining the rule of law and to take away the faith and trust of the Liberian people through what? Through they say through the conduct of corruption. Who is exempted in the Liberian government from corruption? From the president down. All the key players. Who is exempted? Tell me. Because the thing here is that they don't want to say we're going to put sanction on Liberia. But they say people who are responsible for undermining the rule of law. So somebody will come here and downplay it. Oh, no, this is nothing. Anybody can do this. Anybody can say this. No. This is not just about anybody. Before American people can come up with this kind of resolution, they know exactly what they are talking about in the first place. They know exactly who they are referencing in this document. They said those who are responsible for undermining the rule of law as well as the faith and trust of the Liberian people through the conduct of corruption, gross violation of human rights. Listen to that. Gross violation of human rights. Who is doing it? You have seen over and over. What's his name? Yeke Kolba, his family, somehow living what? In the exile. That is undermining the safety of the people. That is human rights violation. It is their right as Liberians to live in the country. Assuming that Yeke Kolba is everything, all the wrong thing in the world. But what about his wife? What about his children? What did they do to deserve to live, not to live in their country, to live in the exile? For what? What about the people that have been killing on a daily basis? So when they say people who are responsible, they know exactly the people. And they say the act that they are doing is through what? Corruption, gross violations of human rights. They say and other acts that threaten the peace and security of the country? You tell me now. Everything going on right now in the country, does it threaten the peace and security of the nation? Of course. Who is doing it? McGill, for example. McGill went and gathered ex-rebels, calling them generals, his house, his compound, distributed food and money with them. The next thing you saw right after that, those guys started going around threatening other citizens. They didn't stop there. They become what? Death squads. Terrorizing the country. Terrorizing the country and going against anybody who dare to go against the government or criticize the government. Is that undermining the peace and security of the country? Of course, yes. When people get killed, there's no proper investigation. As a matter of fact, the police director told everybody in the world the people that have been killed, the dead bodies that are on the street, are done by the country people, by the common people, because they cannot afford to bury their family members. Can you imagine? One thing people don't understand, Steve, when they say, oh, United Nations, Security Council, human rights people, these people, it's not somebody standing there in Washington, D.C. I just want you to understand this. The same people that you are dealing with are the same people that are working for international community, are the same people that are sending report to the United States Embassy, are the same people that are sending report to the United Nations, are the same people that are sending report to other agencies of government around the world. The same Liberians, people that you can be passing by every day, or passing by each other, seeing each other, hating on each other. They too, they are Liberians. Some of their family members may be affected by the gross human rights violations. Some of their family members could be killed, but you don't know them. But they are documenting, when they are documenting, they are taking pictures. They are recording videos. So you cannot deny it. When those auditors get killed, what did they say? And they said they were boyfriends and girlfriends. You think people don't follow those things? As a matter of fact, the report, the Liberian government own report is saying when they put in got killed, the dead body they were in the car for how long? A lot of people came around and took pictures, recorded videos as to how high-profile people being killed in the country. So, Steve, if you ask who may be targeted, it's hard to tell, because not so many people are exempted. When it comes to corruption, you remember the budget before this year, buffer chambers, they inflated the budget of the House of Representatives by 1.2 million. 1,200,000. That was inflated in their budget. And they said it was a mistake, but it was not taken back. The state took the money. That's corruption. The money that were allocated to clinics, what they did with it, the own clinic that they have, it was not distributed based on true on the right process. What they did, clinic that they for them that are working in the government, their own clinic that they have, they prioritize those clinics instead of giving it to other clinic. What they did, they take it for themselves, and all of those things are recorded. That is corruption. Shemina Sifa said they need 2.2 million plus for assets recovery. There are a lot of people that stole money from Liberia, that they're going to need 2 million in order to get all that money. Guess what happened? They took the Liberian money and misused it, and $0 was recovered. That is corruption. So people are watching. The sanction that they're going to impose, different sanction, people's sanction can be different magnitude. As a matter of fact, if you look at the sanction, they might include Magnitsky Act, which also Liberia being on the radar, especially the president, what's his name? Serena Sifos, and some other people in the government, they have been followed by the United States and other international agencies for money laundering, for moving money around. You remember when people were saying that the president should stop using private jet? The private jet was used for the most part to move money around. The private jet was used to move money around. That is money laundering. And American government is taking note. So I can promise you, Steve, when this sanction, the actual sanction come down, the number of people that will be affected is beyond imagination. People may think, oh, this person, that person, thinking that it's going to be maybe just a few people, but there are a lot of people that will be included, especially when it comes to human rights violation, when it comes to corruption, and they say and other acts that threaten peace and security of the country. Because you know what? Here's the thing. People say, Liberia is a sovereign nation. America is our own country. We are a different country, but that's not the problem. America spent millions of dollars to secure peace in Liberia, to maintain peace in Liberia, to restore people's faith and trust that yes, indeed, we can live again like a country, like a human beings. Anybody that would turn to undermine that, they will definitely go against you. So if you ask me who are going to be targeted, I would say a lot of people. That the question I asked for, the answer I got for you, a lot of people will be affected, and it's not going to be good for a lot of people. It's not look fine. It's not going to look fine. It's going to be very, very ugly. And people who are perambulating the streets say, oh, they want we work on it. They don't work on nothing. They are afraid. They are sitting on the hot seat right now. They're just lying, pretending as if they are okay, but they are not okay. So, to answer your question, a lot of people will be affected.
So, Mr. O'Connor, just before we get to the next part of this, because this is important, there's a roadmap that led us to this. There's a roadmap that led us here. This decision, this resolution didn't just fall from the sky. There was a roadmap. There were signs, there were clues, and also information were made public, told the public. Some paid attention, some didn't pay attention. Let me read something quickly to you. And on there are five resolutions. We'll go through all five of them really quick. But let me read something to the roadmap to this, because I want to put us in context before you continue your deliberation or providing, more insight on this. Remember when the report came out these few days from the U.S. State Department, where it says here, the title was U.S. State Department Overseas Security and the Advisory Council issues security report on Liberia. There was a part of a hint for this that they did not pay attention. I will read that part again when we said it here. Oh, yeah, hate the government. Oh, yeah, let the government. Liberia can only become a servant nation when y'all want to do wrong to protect each other. When y'all want to come and beg, then Liberia is not a servant nation. Liberia depend. We're not here for that nonsense. We're not here to change the goalposts. We'll stay focused and stay with the issues. But here is it, Mr. Kane. Here is what it says. The title for that is on a crime environment. The U.S. Department of State has assessed, which means they already conducted an assessment, Monrovia as being a critical threat location for crime directed. In a part, they say at Liberians, they say at foreigners. Look at who they said. Directed at or affecting official U.S. government interests. This whole thing boils down to one thing. By your actions, you are affecting the interests of the United States government. I'll say it again. By your action, you are affecting the United States government, the official government, the business, the interests. You are affecting it. So if the Liberian people are the interests of the United States, you are impacting, you are standing in the way. That's exactly what it is. But let's look at the resolution itself, because we got to keep it in context. And we also got to bring in Prince Johnson. When they sanctioned Prince Johnson, what did they say? Look at what they say about Prince Johnson. Quote, as Senator Prince Johnson has been involved in pay for play, funding with government ministries and organizations for personal enrichment as part of this scheme, upon receiving funding from the government of Liberia, the involved government ministry and organization laundered a portion of the funding for return to involve in participation. The pay-for-play funding scheme involves millions of United States dollars. Prince Johnson has offered the sale of vote in multiple elections in exchange for money. So, Mr. Kane, what this is informing us, all of us as Liberians, is not only that they are aware of how much was funded, how much money was transferred, how much money was pushed, and this is not mutually exclusive to the real-led government. We must be careful, because it says here, present and past governments. Again, let's be clear on this. I'm not saying the opposition is out of the wood. I'm not saying that. Some member of the opposition could be held liable and also could be affected by this. We have to be clear. This is not mutually exclusive to the government. But Mr. Kane, with this kind of sanction that we saw from Prince Johnson, including other people, but let's move a little bit of Vanny Sherman, because we got to bring Vanny Sherman into context. Vanny Sherman kind of started the whole thing to some extent, the move of the U.S. Vanny Sherman started. Let's hear what was done to Vanny Sherman 1 year after Prince Johnson fell in. Listen to what he said. What it says here, quote, Vanny Sherman is designated for being a foreign person who is current or former government official responsible for or complicit in a direct or indirect engaged in corruption, including misappropriation of state assets and expropriation of private asset for personal gain, corruption-related government contracts, or extortion of natural resources or bribery. So you see, all of these things, let me say this, all of these things, there's one meme that is consistently being played around: the government of Liberia. I'll say it again, the government of Liberia. So, Mr. Kane, this notion that I've heard today, sometime early this morning when we were doing some research, I heard some government radio station saying that the Liberian people, they come and bring sanction, and Elizana Cummings is calling for sanction. What do you say about this before we go to the actual resolution, 5 of them to read them. What do you say about this purported excuse or talking point that the government has pushed so far? What do you say about it?
First of all, that's very important, and the sanction here is not a sanction that will say Liberia will not allow anything to get out of Liberia. They will not allow any commercial, product from Liberia to go out of Liberia. This is not about the United Nations or United States is saying no international body should work or input anything to Liberia. That would be targeting Liberia. But this is targeting corrupt people. This is targeting criminals. This is targeting criminals and their enablers. This is targeting corrupt government officials, past and present. And as a matter of fact, this is a fight for Liberians, for the people. And this fight is beyond Alexander Cummings. It's bigger than Alexander Cummings. All these things started even before Alexander Cummings joined the political space. When Ellen was in power, everything that happened, Alexander Cummings was not a candidate. Alexander Cummings did not tell United States or other international actors to pay attention to what's going on in Liberia. Alexander Cummings is not the one that told President Weah and his government to engage in money laundering. It was not Alexander Cummings who is killing the people in the country mysteriously and failing to give the people a clear picture as to what happened, what is happening to the common people. It is not Alexander Cummings that mismanaged the 16 billion Liberian dollars, 105 million equivalents to United States dollar. It was not Cummings that managed or mismanaged the $16 billion. It was not Cummings that came up publicly. The information minister that time, Len Juji Nangwe said, the money that is missing is $16 billion. Nathaniel Patrick, one time he said, no money missing. All the money that was printed was accounted for. After when they arrested Charles Salif, they came back again and said, you know what? Money was missing, and then the next day, no money missing. That was not done by Alexander Cummings. The money that they printed, the $4 billion that they printed, and the rest of the mutilated money got missing. That was not done by Alexander Cummings. So here's the thing. If Alexander Cummings can impact the United States government and other international bodies to impose sanction on the corrupt people, to stop the corruption, if Alexander Cummings is able to impact the international community to stop these people from killing people, if Cummings is able to impact the international community, to leverage the international community to stop the rape in the country, that means he's doing a good job. He shouldn't shy away from that. I would say I will go against Commies or anybody who want to increase the suffering on the Liberian people. But if the sanction is meant, has been clearly stipulated in this document, that the sanction is targeting people who are responsible for corruption, people who are responsible for making the country unsafe for people who are responsible for undermining the rule of law, I'll be happy. The common people should be dancing right now on the street, because they are saying those who are responsible for your children not going to school, those who are responsible for you not to have safe, clean drinking water, those who are responsible for you to not have electricity when they and their family staying under current air condition on a daily basis, eating the food that they want to eat while you are suffering. Your children are looking up to you. They don't got nothing in their stomach to go to school tomorrow. That those who are doing that, they're going to be targeting those people. You should be jubilated. You should be happy. You should be on the street dancing. If they say communists are doing that, then I mean communists are the one that love Liberia. We are not saying this. American people are saying that this sanction is targeting people who are depriving Liberian people their right to move freely. These are gross human rights violations. And the human rights violation being perpetuated against who?
The Liberians.
The Liberian people, the common people. The common people don't commit any human rights violation against the big people. They are the ones cherry picking. They are the ones carrying on the selective justice. They are the ones deciding who to go to court, who not to go to court. They are the ones deciding whose life is important and whose life is not. Can you imagine if the president and the government official can sit and say, the man and the woman who were murdered in cold blood said they were making love. They were boyfriend and girlfriend. We did not see any woman or group of women get on the street to protest the death of that lady.
Yeah.
If 3 living children can get missing in daylight and you know exactly where it happened, you did not get on the street. That's what we call selective justice. It's called cherry picking. Blinding yourself to one segment and then opening your eyes to the others. So, Steve, if Communist is accused of being the one to impose sanction, to stop the corruption, to impose sanction, to stop the abuse of citizens, to impose sanction in order to stop corruption. See, look at these things. The ending part of that statement, when they said, and other acts that undermine peace and security. Who are those doing it? Is it the citizens that are doing it, undermining peace and security? There are some citizens who flip-flops, but vast majority of the people, all these acts are perpetrated by the government. All the acts, all the crimes, all the gross violations of human rights are carried out by the government. Nobody else doing it. That's just clear. So if somebody can say Alexander Cummings is influencing the United States or the international community to put sanctions on corrupt government officials, Kudos to Commies. That means Commies is the right person. Imagine now if Commies can get the power. I'm not sure if the allegation where they're coming from with it, but imagine now, Steve, if Commies can get the power to influence the United States government to take action on corrupt officials in the country. Who is better for Liberia than him? If he got that power to influence Washington, D.C., to change things in Liberia. Okay, assuming now that Cummings is the one. If Cummings can influence, use his leverage to make sure corruption is stopped, to make sure to enable peaceful environment in the country, to make the country to be safe, to make the country to be conducive for investor. Because when they say undermine peace and security of the country, once peace and security are undermined, no investor will come in the country. So if you think Cummings is the one that creating the avenue for that, that means you are campaigning for Cummings.
So Mr. Kane, so
they are campaigning for Cummings. So to say, if I'm Cummings right now, or I'm Cummings supporters, and the government and the supporters are telling the world that I'm the one fighting to bring peace in the country, I'm the one fighting to create a safe and conducive environment in the country, I'm the one who is fighting corruption, to eradicate corruption in the country, that I am the one who is trying to make sure that the rule of law is upheld in the country. I'll be dancing in the street. They are campaigning for Cummings. It means that Cummings is the right person for the country.
So in essence, you are trying to say, in essence, the government is doing a PR for Cummings, presenting Cummings as the alternative for the Liberian people's freedom, unknowingly to themselves, by spewing this gibberish.
Yeah, I'm saying the more. Let me tell you something. Few things it will do for Cummings. First and foremost, it keeps him in conversation. It makes him the subject of the political discourse in the country. Cummings is being discussed on a daily basis. That is a campaign for Cummings, if they don't know that. Cummings, who is Cummings? Oh, Cummings, the political leader for ANC. Who is Cummings? Oh, Cummings, the opposition who's trying to run for president. What is he doing? Oh, the government people are against him. Oh, they want to jail him. They want him to run. They're stopping him from this. In fact, they say Cummings is the one that's trying to bring sanction. Anything in matter America, what they can do. Imagine
so that mindset. Connection.
Imagine the mindset. Exactly. So imagine that mindset you are creating. Cummings, you're telling the world that Cummings is able to use his power, his strength, his leverage to impact Liberia. So if Cummings has the connection to change things for the better, especially in the face of this particular targeted sanction, it means that Cummings is not only influential, but Cummings has voice. So imagine now where I was going before you came in, with your question. Imagine now if Cummings able to influence the government of Liberia, or the government of the United States, to tell the people, let's eradicate corruption. They say, yes, Mr. Cummings, we will do. Let's eradicate rape. They say, yes, we will do. Let's jail or stop all the corrupt officials from traveling in the United States or to around the world. They say, yes, we will do. They say, you know what? No investor will come in the country. Let's make sure the country is conducive, is safe for everybody. The people say, yeah, we will do. Then now they gave Cummings now the power. Labrador people say, you know what? Let's get Comey to power. Is he Comey stupid to do the same thing? If Comey can influence the American government to do all of those things that they are saying that Comey is doing now, how will Comey now be corrupt?
Well,
How will Comey now set by if you are giving the leverage, the power, if you are giving the power to change the country because of everything you stood against, will you go and do the same thing? Hell no.
Mr. Kane, I'm here smiling because the men will kill in the comment section.
It's okay.
The men will kill in the comment section. But let's move to something substantial, please.
But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about the comment section.
The comment is
You know, when you say something, let me say when you say something. I mean, this is pure logic, right? It's a common sense. If you can really understand, and you have a common sense, and you can do critical analysis, you understand exactly where we're coming from. So if you are saying Comey is doing S, Y, and Z, you are giving Comey some supernatural power. Now Comey has influence. You are telling the world that Comey has influence. That's what you're telling the world. Okay. Let's say Comey is using his money in Liberia to make for somebody to get $1 or $2 for themselves and change. So you telling me too Comey is using his money in America? Comey got money more than the United States. So the thing is, instead of my point here is very simple, Steve. Instead of pointing fingers at other people,
exactly.
Instead of you saying Mr. X, Y, and Z are doing this or that, all you need to do is to change your behavior. Plain and simple. Do the right thing for the Liberian people. Fight corruption. Stop the selective justice. Open the level playing field for everybody. One of my major problems with Liberian people, especially those in power and in the opposition, is the idea of sanctioning other people. The idea of limiting other people. If you cannot fight, then give up. But you can say, this person can get in the ring with me. For what? Let everybody have the level playing field and contest. Let the Liberian people, the common people, decide as to who to lead Liberia. So they are making campaign for Comey.
Without realizing it.
Maybe they know what they are doing. Maybe they don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, if I were Comey, or if I was somebody within his circle, I would not get agitated. I would not get angry when they say Comey is the one bringing sanction to Liberia. Comey not bring the people who are not bringing the sanction. They're not saying they're bringing sanction to Liberia. They say they're putting sanction on people, on corrupt people. They say those who are responsible. Those who are responsible for corruption, for human rights violations, and those who are creating environment that will undermine peace and security of the nation. Those who are not allowing the rule of law to be the order of the day. You think the common people doing that? No, the common people are not doing that. It is the government people doing that. So yes, indeed, if Comey is doing it, then Comey is doing a good job. Well, but I'm sure Comey is not. I'm sure. Because what I know, Comey is not the one doing it. I know the American people they follow. We have a lot of human rights organizations in Liberia. They follow, they see things every day. They taking pictures, they taking recording videos, they sending information on a daily basis to the United States. That is not Alexander Comey. But if you want to give Comey that credit, then yes, indeed, Comey is doing the right thing. Steve?
Okay, Mr. Kane, that's a good point. But here is it. I want to give us a sneak peek into who might possibly be on the listing. You see, the thing about us Liberians, most of the times, most of us don't pay attention signs and signals are sent to us. People who are serious, people who want to do real business and want to ensure the right things are done, they will always send you warnings. They will always send you signs and signals. It's up to you to pick it up or not. We've showed you one of the places where signs and signals were sent. We showed you another place. We sent you about 3 different places now. The first one we showed you was most recently the letter from the Overseas Advisory Council, Security Advisory Council. We pointed out in there. We pointed out the things that led to this whole thing. It started out with Vani Sherman. Vani Sherman, we were told that he did corruption, but with the judicial branch of government and other branches of government as well. It's stated in that. That is a clue that these guys are the people that are targeted. Let me say this to all of us, to the Labran people, to my Omane in Zwenzu, my Omane in Ban, some of them all the way down there in Grand Cayman County to my papa. Let me say this to you. They sanction yet enough for you. They sanction for the criminal there. The BB people there who stealing the Labran people money, who stealing all your children their money, who paying BB horse there, who can be traveling, be buying BB bag and dinner for the women there and the children that be sending them to different countries to go to school. That the people, the American people coming for, they're not coming for you. So you start fooling our people and saying, oh, the sanction will affect the Liberian people. No, it will not affect the Liberian people. It will affect you. And the one you're trying to project on the Liberian people, it will affect you. But let me give you a hint on some of the people that could be involved. Apart from the government officials, some people will be involved as well. Let me give you some kind of hint. Remember the text message or the communication that was alleged sent out by the Liberian ambassador to Nathaniel McGill? Let me read something in there that is very interesting, that is captivating. Let me read something in there. Look at what it states here. Further to our conversation the other day, I've made some inquiries. The prosecution of Alexander Cummings on what appears to be a trumped-up charges has not been well received. There is a renewed interest in Nathaniel McGill. So one of the people that could potentially be on the sanction is Nathaniel McGill. And he's aware. Who told he doesn't know? He knows about it. That's why he came on Spoon yesterday. He came on Spoon Talk yesterday. Instead of answering direct questions, he started to accuse everybody else, blame everybody else, lied as usual, make excuses. When we say it, they get vexed. That's one of the persons. But let's move on because there are other people that are into this as well. Let's move on. There is a renewed interest in Nathaniel McGill, whom you know from our previous conversation, there is a dossier on. So that means before they brought up this bogus charge against Cummings and other people, how they're doing the rule of law in Liberia, guess what happened? They have been investigating Nathaniel McGill. And Nathaniel McGill is aware that he's been under investigation. He's been under scrutiny. But let's move on. Let's move on to other people that could possibly be involved. Let's move on. Now, Benedict Ure, listen to this. Oh, this is not a government. Oh, Benedict Ure and his daughter Telia have also attracted attention. So you see how they brought attention to themselves. Let's read on. Benedict Ure and his daughter Telia have also attracted attention, as has Solicitor General Serena Cephas. We're moving. We're moving. It gets better. It even gets better. As has Solicitor General Serena Cephas. I think people are looking into the judge's record to see if he has history of corruption. So you see, that means Judge Joma Jala is not off the hook. That means there is a record on these guys. So the people, apart from those in key ministries and in key governments, because remember now, ministries were mentioned from both past and present government, through which monies are funneled to do all these funny little things. There are different ministries. And listen, let me say this to the Liberian government. Let me say this to the Liberian government. And to all of you who were even part of the government and did all kind of shenanigans. Let me tell you something. When you transfer money, our friends are aware. When you move money, they are aware. When you take money out of your own account, they are aware. When money comes into your account, whether it's UBA, whatever bank you have in Liberia, they are aware. So there is no way out for you. So any way you want to take money and carry to Ivory Coast, they're aware. Take and carry Japan, they're aware. So, but let's come to these 5 resolution. But before we get to the resolution, let me read this. This is just a paragraph that is right over the resolution. Listen to what it says. Liberians, listen to what it says on page 4 of this document, this resolution. Listen to what it says. Whereas the Liberian people and the Liberian diaspora, so that means we who are considered international citizens, we're not international citizens yet, we are recognized by the United States government. Whether you're like it, you're not like it, you will like it. We are recognized. We don't care. We are recognized. So, and we make great impact. Whereas the Liberian people, that means the people on ground, and the Liberian diaspora have contributed significantly to the United States and to Liberia, and reaffirm the long-standing transatlantic ties between the two nations, which will be underscored by the Republic of Liberia's bicentennial celebration. Now, therefore, be it. Now, in the very first resolution, it says resolved that the House of Representatives. So let me say this to you: we who now know we deal with one at a time, Mr. Kane. Each of the resolution we want to look into it, what it really means. So we deal with one at a time. It means the people now agree yet. The House of Representatives yet. Most of the time when they agree on something, apart from maybe they're spending bills, anything that has to do with foreign affairs, most of the time, once the House agrees, the Senate concurs and they move on because they want to protect the interest. So that means the people now agree to the thing. That means no amount of begging. The only thing you can do to help small will be your behavior yourself. This is what it says. Their resolve remains committed to nurturing and enduring ties between the people and the government of the United States and Liberia, including through provision of the United States support for a strong civil society, reputable and accountable institution, transparency, and other tenets of good government that should help lay a solid foundation for presidential elections in 2023. Mr. Kane, what say you? Because now they're saying that they will support the election, this coming election, but they will make sure that it is transparent, it is accountable. So these guys are looking forward into our elections come 2023. What say you based on this other resolution? What do you say?
It means that people who are speaking, whether pro-governmental or government officials, that they should be very careful about what they're saying. Like I talk about providing a level playing field for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But if people are going around saying, like somebody just wrote, or government supporters, or maybe from the opposition within the opposition, saying that Commies will now run for 2023, that it is sealed and done. When you say those kind of things, like I said, people are here watching, people are here taking note. And if it is said that whatever seem to be a trumped up allegations against Commies, and you are here saying that in fact Commies will not run, people say, oh, okay. So it's all about Commies running.
Mm-hmm.
There's no crime committed. There's no document missing. Everything going on here is about Commies running. So the fight is about Commies should not run. That means not only you are depriving a citizen their right to participate in the Liberian politics, but you are also depriving the Liberian people to be the one to make a decision as to who to lead them. That's also a human rights violation.
Mhm.
That is also a corruption. So, in short, owing to what people have saying in the past, they understand that, or they're even saying something that you are not saying. They are following. I told you this before, and on this particular show, I said it. People shouldn't think that United States and human rights agencies, they don't have to move from Washington D.C. to go to Liberia. The same Liberian people who you are perpetrating all those madness against are the same people that are sending the report.
Mhm.
The same people within the National Election Commissions that you are forcing them to cheat. The communication you're sending to them, the meeting you're having with them, they are the one recording and sending it here that this is what these people are doing. These are the things they are doing here on a daily basis. So not only that they are saying it, but they got proof that you see. Let me tell you something. When they talk about those, they talk about corruptions, this and that, they said, and other acts that undermine peace and security. That includes election, breaking of election.
Okay. We'll get to that part. We'll get to it.
It's mentioned. So when they say those who are undermining peace and security of the country are those people who are creating environment, a hostile environment. People who are creating environment that will create mixed feelings, that will make people to go against their will. Let me tell you something. When your right is temper weight, in a certain level, you know what happened we always say when you push someone against the wall, they will bounce back. So by trying to push people against the wall with all kinds of illegal means, you are creating an environment that could be detrimental. They are creating an environment that have the potential to undermine peace and security of the nation. That you are not creating a conducive environment where every Liberian will have their right not only to move freely, but also their right to decide as to who to lead them. But by you creating lies, fabrications, or trying to somehow control people's life through illegal means, simply because you want to satisfy yourself, that means you are undermining the peace and security of the nation. Because if the other person can say, you know what, enough is enough, there will be no peace. That's just plain and simple. So we can all stand out here and say, you know what? Oh, there will be no war in Liberia. Oh, no, Liberia will tire with war. You can tire with everything. But when you are pushed to the wall, you will bounce back. I know that.
So Mr. Kane, it's been reported to us that, just to corroborate your point before we get to the second point here, the second resolution here, it's been reported to us that even members of Chancellor Inner Cycle testified against him. So yes, what you're saying in essence is people within the cycles of the presidency that could possibly serve as credible witnesses are providing directly and indirectly, they're providing substantial information to corroborate some of the claims and the stance the government is taking.
All right, let me just make it clear to you. Let me. I've never said this before, but let me make it clear to you. It is clear, and we are privileged to that information as to how much George Weah gave President Johnson to support him. The people have a proof, and the record is there. It is also clear. I'm saying this, and I know you're laughing now because when I'm tempted, I can just let it out.
I will not push you to that. Let lead out. Let go.
No, it's also clear. I will say this. It is also clear. And Prince Johnson also admitted as to how much Ellen Johnson Sirleaf gave him to buy the vote.
They're getting deeper.
Yes. It's clear, and the evidence are there. How much George Weah gave him? Prince Johnson is afraid. Prince Johnson is scared. And Prince Johnson is talking. Prince Johnson wants to be safe. And this is not just Prince Johnson. Let me tell you this. There are other people.
Move on. I beg you.
No. We can't move on. We got to talk. There are other people. Let me say something. No, I'm not going to call a lot of names, but I will say something. I will say some facts. So that people would know that we don't just come here and just talk. Because, man, I have a lot to do. Trust
me.
The
people.
Sometimes so that you can push me to say, I just want to attire with the people because there are a lot of people that are clueless. They have no idea. They don't know what's going on. And they're always surprised because they don't know. So they will come and talk things and say things just to satisfy themselves or satisfy their enablers. But let me tell you this. United States government, the international communities, when they said those who are responsible for corruption, and they didn't say human rights violation, they said gross human rights violation. They got some clue as to who are responsible for some of those killings. They have a clue. So if you know you are a killer, if you know you help, you even had a discussion about what to do, what to be done to people. Let me tell you something. People calls being listened to. And one of the areas that I wanted to go to, since you don't want me to go on the other side, but let me say this now. Those of us who are talk show hosts, or those of us some of us who are there to provide some light on the happiness in the country. For example, Henry Costa. Costa said, this government is corrupt. This government is criminal. This government is engaged in human rights abuses. This government is the worst thing in the world. Yesterday. Then today, Costa said, we are working with the Liberian government. People are listening, people are watching, and people are taking note.
Well,
that's all we say about that one.
Yeah, I beg you.
Yeah, people are watching, people are taking note.
Yeah, you don't. We don't want to tip certain people off to refrain from certain.
No. I don't. I'm just giving a code. People are watching, people are listening, and people are paying attention. So let's be careful. If you think this is going to remain just, Serena Sifa will decide, George Joma will do this. This is way, way, way bigger than.
Let them continue. Let them continue.
Okay,
yes.
So in short, this human rights thing Let me tell you some of these people. Somebody just say, Sekou is obsessed with Costa. Let me just tell you this. I love Costa. And just the same way you love Costa, I love him the same way. But Costa is not just anybody in the Liberian body politics. Costa has huge followings, majority of whom have peanut brains. Their impact in the Liberian politics is huge. They say if you underestimate the power of stupid people, then you are doomed so to big surprise. Because you know what? Costa is a human being. Costa is lovable by some people. Even those, they may not regard him as leadership material, but they listen to what he will tell them when it comes to other people. When it comes to other people. So when they continue to fabricate lies, stories, it is incumbent upon us, the good people, to come and set the record straight. You know, when one Liberian is bad, or is called criminal, or blackmailer, or this or that, we are all being looked at somehow, some ways. It is incumbent upon us to distinguish ourselves from those bad actors. If you can say today this government is bad, this government is corrupt, this government is criminal, that there's no justice system in Liberia, for which in fact you run away from the country when we all were fighting for you. And then today you sit to the international community, tell the people, I'm working with this government. Even though you said the government is criminal, the justice system is bad, but yes, you say you are working with the same justice system that is corrupt, that is criminal, that is bad, to prosecute other people. You escape from prosecution because you say you believe your justice will not be served. But yet you say, you know what? Today justice will be served. So we are not targeting Costa as a human being. We are only shining light on the contradictions and the level of hypocrisy. And the many of you who go to platform just to defend lies, just to defend fabrications. We don't worry about you. We will mention names where necessary. We will call numbers where necessary. We will point fingers directly to people where necessary at any time. So we are not, driven by your usual emotion. If you like it, you watch this platform. If you don't like it, that's up to you. But I can tell you this. You can't get it both ways. It's either good or bad. Steve.
Yes. So, Mr. Kane, on that note, just a quick disclaimer to some of our friends. Some of the apps that you download and think that you are having private and secret conversation, that ain't true. That ain't true. Either some people have the transcripts to those conversations, and when the time is appropriate, those transcripts will be made available. So y'all keep having no funny one. Sometimes when we see some of these transcripts, we listen to some of them, we just laugh and just pass. Y'all keep it up. Please keep it up, yeah? We're not get a problem with that one. Y'all be having secret conversation and nobody know. Okay, no problem. Well, let's move on to the second one. The second resolution states here, encourages Liberia. It's critically important for us to look at this particular one because I found it a little interesting. I will say why before Mr. Cannon, elaborates on this. Encourages Liberia to redouble its efforts to encounter to counter corruption, advance the causes of human rights, implement critical economic reforms necessary to accelerate sustainable economic growth and human capacity development. The reason I got a little concerned or confused about this, it didn't specify and say the Liberian government, but it says Liberia. So is this message across the board to all Liberians or to other leaders and other actors, whether be it, I mean, maybe I don't understand English, but be it opposition members along with the government? Is this an inclusive recommendation for all of us as Liberians, including some in the diaspora as well? What do you say about that? Or what do you say about that second resolution? What are your thoughts?
Let me say this, Steve. You know, at the end of the day, you know, one thing I want you to pay attention to: the Liberian government, for the fact that they are trying to water down this sanction, the fact that they're trying to downplay it, it means that it's touching them so hard that they're in a state of pandemonium. They are still in a state of confusion right now, the state of dilemma. They don't know where to start from. They don't know. It's like, you know, something is about to break, but they don't know which part it's going to break from. So everything in this targeted sanction is pointing at one thing and one thing only: bad governance. Everything you're thinking about right now is pointing at bad governance. And in order to remedy the problem is to change the government. Plain and simple. You know, let me give you an example. Did you hear about weapon of mass destruction in Iraq?
Yep.
Do you know how that came about? Was there any weapon of mass destruction? There is a target. And the target is the Liberian government is bad. George Weah is inept. The government is corrupt. The government is not creating a conducive environment for the people to live a better life. The government is not creating a conducive environment or in a trustworthy environment for people to come in the country to invest. And better yet, the government is not working with the United States to do what is right. You remember George Weah and his government people, sometimes they pay attention to Russia?
Yep.
When they try, Weah was not getting the audience he needed with the United States president. Then they decided to turn to Russia. Do you remember key players, key government officials took a trip to China to go and meet with the people? It will not make me talk. The Liberian government, this government of George Money Weah, is in serious trouble. They're trying to play. They're trying to play with the United States, making it look like we are with you, but we are with other people. And when it comes to diplomacy, when it comes to government bilateral relationship with other people, United States does not compromise her interest with anybody, no matter what you do or who you are. The Liberian government, because they are engaged in corruption, because they are engaged in money laundering, because they are not providing safety environment for our citizens, because of the level of rape going on in the country, financial mismanagement, they feel like they don't have a way through the United States. No matter what they do, they cannot get away. They're trying. They will pretend to try. They will spend a little money here and there on some lobbyists and stuff. But at the end of the day, they are not seeing their way out. So, therefore, they want to be working secretly with Russia, with China, thinking the United States is not paying attention to them.
Well,
because those people don't care about human rights. Russia, like Vladimir Putin, Russia will go and do anything they want to do. The president will go and put anybody in jail if he sees you as a threat. They will poison you if they see you as a threat. And that's the kind of culture that they have adopted. The culture of impunity, the culture of so say one, so say all. So that in order for them to continue with this government, they have to change their behavior to work with the United States. But they are not going to do that. They're not going to change. You and I both agree they're not going to change. So in other words, Steve, all these sanctions that you are seeing here is because of bad governance. And in the end, this government will be removed by the Liberian people. And the government people, they know that America not going to move from here and go have a coup d'etat to remove them. They know that. And the only way America can do this is to stand up for the citizens. They stand up for the people. To make the people to understand and to make the people to believe that our fight is your fight. We are fighting for you.
You know?
So yeah.
Before we go to number 3, the third one, you know, there was one of my good friends.
Yeah, I want to take just 1 minute break. Quick.
Yeah, go ahead. There's one of my good friends as like other Seditians, one of my good friends who I, respect highly and we have a good relationship. She will come on here and y'all say Sanction are coming, no Sanction coming. Oh, y'all gotta be bluffing. Y'all say y'all know they want you. Okay, everywhere. They're all gonna funny thing. And well, for people who support the government, even when you say the truth and they see the truth, don't go around it to make excuses or to defend it or to try to shift blames. And I'll write. Yesterday, I saw her writing on spoon. I said, well, I thought we were liars. No Sanction were coming, and we just made it up in our head. And, this and that. Listen, one thing I will say to the Liberian people, for those of you who watch us from distance, who watch us from close, you might not like me. That is okay. But you respect me. That I can assure you. Whether you government official, whoever you are, you respect me. You will. And you respect the information we provide here. You will. There's a parable in Articles that says the sheep, they can move together. But when they're ready to buy them, they don't buy them at the same price. No, they got different prices. Even though they can move together, when it comes to buy them, they can buy them different prices. We inside. We inside. We inside. We're here. We're not going nowhere. Whether you're threatened, you're not threatened. Whether you say we lie, you're not saying we lie. Whether you say we make up, you're not saying we make up. That's fine. That's fine. Those are the friends that we have that we know. That want to get himself in trouble. And we're aware. We send you quote to stay away from certain people and stop. If you want to keep on voyage. Keep it moving. It's okay. But this is serious. But let's move on to the third one. Let's move on to the third one. The third resolution. This is where it states, quote, calls on the Department of State and the Treasury to continue to impose targeted sanctions. That word is critically important. Targeted sanction and other measures against those responsible for what? Undermining the rule of law, as well as the faith and trust of the Liberian people through conduct of corruption, gross violation of human rights, and other acts that threatens the peace and security of Liberia. Again, they're calling to the other one, Prince Johnson, their own. If you look at Prince Johnson, he own a sanction, and you look at what he mean, Vanny Sherman sanction, the Treasury Department went forward to just initiate that. But this time around, the horse is calling on two of them, calling on them simultaneously. That means together, and say, gentlemen, you need to do the thing, Mr. Kane. Why do you think this time around it was important? This time around, it was important to not only signal up the continuation of sanction, but listen to it. It states here clear, which kind of validates your point that this is not against the Liberian people, but against this targeted sanctions and other measures. Again, not only sanctions, but other measures, which they didn't specify here, for those responsible for undermining the rule of law. And also, as well as the faith and the trust of the Liberian people. Through what? Through what? How do they do that? They do it through corruption, gross human rights violation. That means when somebody is killed and the auditors and the president go on the pulpit and make statements like the people were having an affair in the car, where human rights was violated, and threaten the peace and security of Liberia. What do you say, Mr. Kane?
Yeah, so I think we were saying this earlier. You know, those who are threatening the peace and security, threatening the peace and security of the country, who are the ones doing that? Is it not the same people who kill in daylight one of their own body guys? Is it not the same government who killed Matthew Innish to destroy evidence? Is it not the same people who killed Ada Flores? Is it not the same people that killed the auditors? So those are not only gross human rights violations, but those are things that undermines peace and security of the nation. Just a few months ago, the sons of President Tabo and President Tuckman were killed in cold blood. Was there any? Was there any investigation to give us clear picture as to what really transpired, as to who killed them? You know, when this guy was a German businessman got killed, you think people are not paying attention? People are paying attention, Steve. Those are things that undermine peace and security. Also, harassment of political actors, depriving the people of their right to make decisions, harassment and intimidation of politicians. You can't boast every day that you have no political prisoners, or you have a lot of political dead bodies. I'd rather be a political prisoner than to be a political dead body. Because another government could free you. Another government could come in, another president can come in, have an amnesty on you. But I'd rather be a political prisoner than to be a political dead body. That's what we have in Liberia. That's what happened in Liberia. And that undermines peace and security of the country. Steve, let me tell you this. What they are doing right now, let me be frank with you. What they are doing right now to Alexander Cummings is tantamount to creating a hostile environment. It could also undermine peace and security of the nation. That's just a fact. You cannot openly lie on somebody, knowing that you are lying. The victim know that you are lying. The spectators, people who are around watching, know that you are lying. And you yourself know that you are lying. But simply because you are taking advantage of the people, because you have the guns, you have the police, you have the army. Those things are things that undermine peace and security, Steve. Let me tell you something. You know, I know, everybody knows that Cummings is being prosecuted by the Liberian government using Benina Ure and his son and their followers simply because to stop him from running. That is undermining peace and security of the country. If you think you are doing all the right thing, if you think this government is doing all the right thing for the Liberian people, all you need to do is create a conducive environment. Be serious and be concerned of peace and security of each and everyone, regardless of their political affiliation. But by targeting individuals for political reason, let me tell you something. These guys, they are playing with fire. Liberia, for example, the central prison of Liberia, Subish, the capacity that's supposed to be 300 people. it has more than 1,000 people, prisoners. That's not only double, that's triple the amount. Taking somebody and put them in jail, in that jail, the first thing, that person could die from 3 things. Number one, that person could contract sickness in there and die. Secondly, there are criminals that are planted in those prisons that can kill people. They have criminals in those prisons. I'm telling you now. They are criminals. They are there. They sometimes let them go, do whatever they want to do, and then put them back in the prison. But they are only there to target certain people that the government want to execute. They will put people in jail there. They will say, oh, he got sick, or she got sick and died. Oh, no, he got beaten. The criminals, the prisoners were fighting among themselves, and this person got killed. But those who are killing them are planted in there to do so. Those are human rights violations. Those are human rights violations. And the third thing, Steve, this government not allowing people to move freely, to protest freely, without using tear gas on them. That is a human rights violation. And that is an act that threatens peace and security. If the government cannot even allow people to assemble freely and do what is right. In America here, you can protest all you want. As long as you're not violent, they allow you to protest. And for what we have seen so far, all the protesters that have been tear gassed in Liberia, they have been arrested, intimidated. They pose no threat. They were non-violent protests. They just go and sing, the dance, they beating drums. But government people will go and tear gas them. That is creating hostile environment. That is threatening peace and security of the nation. So, the government is doing everything to intimidate politicians and boost that we do not have political prisoners. You don't have to have political prisoners. Why must you intimidate the people? Why must you harass the people? Why must you tear gas the people? When you talk about rule of law, upholding the rule of law, it is those are laws guarantee under the Constitution freedom of movement, freedom of assembly, freedom of association. I don't have to be in CDC to be free. You don't have to be a CDC partisan to be allowed to perambulate the street. You saw the last time CDCians were allowed to follow Jefferson Koji and protest and do whatever they wanted to do in the country. But when it came to the opposition, they were tear gas. That is what they talk about, upholding the rule of law. Because there are certain rights, alienable rights, fundamental rights that are guaranteed under the Constitution that every Liberian must enjoy. But when you are cherry picking, allowing people that look like you or that support you will enjoy that right under the Constitution, and those who disagree with you are threatened, intimidated, in most cases, tear gas and arrested. That is gross violation of human rights and also undermining the rule of law. So, in short, Steve, at the end of the day, the people got tired. The international community is clearly telling you, the United States government is clearly telling the world that the Liberian government is not only corrupt, is not only criminal, but they are engaged in human rights violations of their citizens. So if they can't hold them for money laundering, they can hold them for threatening the peace that the war at large work very, very hard to maintain. Liberia had the largest presence of United Nations troops in the world, and for the longest. You think this is the joke? The people spend their money. Some people say 3 billion. Some people say more than that. Some people say less than that. But it was a lot of money for the longest. So everything that they invested in the country, they want to make sure it's protected. They don't want to go back to what we passed through. So this government, they can play all they want. They can pretend all they want. But this government is in a serious, serious trouble. And the targeted people who are targeted, let me tell you this. It could go as far as the president. Just watch.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Well, let's briefly go over the last two, and then we'll open the line for a few calls, and we'll call it a day here. We'll combine the last two because the fourth one says here, recalls the historical significance of Liberia's bicentennial anniversary as the country continues to build a vibrant and inclusive democracy. Then 5 states supports the continuing effort of Liberian diaspora in the United States and their substantial contributions to robust transatlantic dialogue, engagement, and transformational initiatives that advance democratic principles in Liberia. Let me say they don't want an easy one. We don't need to ask Mr. Kane for a vote open the land. Let me say this to you, my people. We who in the diaspora, they say we're doing good way, yeah. They say we're doing good thing. We're helping our people back home. We provide support, even though sometimes the government can say we're not doing nothing. I remember the president saying until when we contribute masks when the COVID started, that the only time we have right to speak. Listen, my people, you get right to speak. Anything that going on in Liberia that you see that you're not good, whether you see Dishan, you not see Dishan, whether you opposition, you're not opposition, you whatever you call yourself, so long you are Liberian, you sending money to Liberia, you helping your people, you are contributing to the economy. They are saying they're encouraging us to continue the kind of conversation. Let's talk about the issue. They don't have nothing. Don't go sit down in your horse and you know that the people doing bad. When your friend come and you're drinking your Hennessy and you're drinking your other thing, and then at the only time you'll see to have that discussion. Soon you're moving at me, and I'm not talking like people politics. Listen, they say you might be calling on the show too and participating. Yeah, call your name and say and talk.
And Steve, to that part before we even start taking calls, right?
Yes, sir.
The American people are saying that, they talk about, they say they are ready to help Liberia in making sure that the development and good things that's supposed to happen in Liberia, they are ready for that, to help in that direction. But everything is what? Predicated upon what? Upon the safety environment. A conducive environment wherein people can move about safely without being targeted or without being intimidated. Now they are also recognizing not only Liberians in the United States are contributing to Liberia, but they're also saying the contribution here that Liberians in the United States are important to them. So whatever bothers us, whatever is our problem, they will not just brush it off. They pay attention to it. That's why they are following everything we are doing here. In fact, for those of you who live in the United States, maybe you haven't done, if you haven't done this before, go to your city, go to your capital building. Tell them, say, once you see your city mayor, they will allow you to see him or her. Go and write, or just call your representative, your district representative in Congress. Say you want to talk to them. If you can't talk to them right away, they will tell you how to get to them. They will open up to you for you to go and see them and tell them your problem. And they will be more than willing to help you. They know you're not going to go, they know you're not going there to go stand in line to tell them, give me money, or give me my school fee, or my wife just delivered, she in a hospital, I don't know how to get her out. No, they know you're not going there for that. And they value you, they respect you. Because why? You are a taxpayer. We're not doing anything for them. The only reason why they are respecting you, you don't have to be a United States citizen. So long you live in the country, you are a taxpayer, they respect you. Most of the state, if you travel, if you see people working on the street, facing the road, you will see the sign that will say, your taxes at work. That the money you pay to the government is the one they are using to face the road. You see your taxes at work. They respect you for that. They look up for you. If something goes wrong with you or your family, if something happens, you die 911, the police not going to say, you know what? We don't get gas in our car. You got to buy gas to put in the police people's car before they can even go and arrest criminals. When armed robber come to your door at night, even if you die 911, you don't call, you don't tell them any location. By the time you die, they will use GPS to come exactly to your house where the 911 is died. You don't have to pay them anything. When they come, the first thing they will ask for, are you okay? Safety, security. But we not only that we don't have the money, we have money to do that. To get those things, it's not that expensive compared to taking 100 people to travel to the United States, to France, to Russia, to lavish the resources of the country. There are a lot of good things you can do with the money, with the country money. Invest in security. We're not doing that. But in fact, it is the other way around. Instead of you providing security for the people, but you are the one terrorizing the people. Well, then you want to put blame on somebody. Just do the right thing. Steve, we can take some calls.
Yes, let's put a number there. We'll take about 5 to 10 calls today, because we're already way above our time here. We're 2 hours and 10 minutes. So let's use the next 10 to 15 minutes to take 1 or 2 calls, and we shall call it a day. Feel free to call me. Please don't call Tavi. Tavi is not on the show today. I'm sure she's busy.
Well, so let me pull some numbers there.
If you call her, she might not be able to answer, because I know some of you guys, you're rushing. You won't call woman. You let woman business.
So my friend here, I want to tell you the live. I want to tell you the one call. They won't call my phone. But my own sister too, they got to start calling her. They got to stop calling.
Well, I can be on the show. I can be on the show, my man. They can't call. Hold on. Somebody, let me see who the caller. What's your name? Where you calling from, please? Okay, hold on. Let me put you on. Hold on. Yes, go ahead. What's your name? Where you calling from, please?
This is Justin Martin Sayers. I want to say thank you to you and Sickle today's show. I mean, every day something new. It's very educated. I think what people need to hear. You only have few people who, and I said yesterday, even the devil has his own worshippers, so the devil will have their own worshippers. But let me say this to the Liberian people. When you talk about Melvin Early, who was thoroughly documented what happened to her husband, an EPF officer that was murdered, chased down in Nima County, okay, and killed. What happened? All right? And they'll be chasing his wife around, children. We know that. These people thoroughly documented what happened to their family, and it's here. But when we told the Liberian people, 2019, we started there, they said nothing was going to happen. We visited, they said nothing was going to happen. A few months back, I remember you or SKTV, and everybody else, nothing was going to happen. Even after, I have people in my inbox and talk to me after the congressional hearing on June 1st, 2021, people were so insulting, even with the sanction on Barney Sherman. But I love the way you all took your time today to explain. You put over 1,000 people in a jailhouse that has a capacity of 300. While you're murdering them, while there's no food, people they're forcing people to clean feces with their hands for torture. When they get ready, they send Ofori-Bia in the prison to collect the people you need to collect, do whatever you want to do with them and kill them. Nobody answers for that. You have hospitals in Liberia that don't have medication. The Liberian can show up at a hospital. Let's just say, for instance, the young man whose tongue was cut off out of his throat. They took him to JFK. JFK refused him because he didn't have money. Literally, they were not treating him. All right, they had an opportunity to touch that little boy tongue while they were still alive because your body part when it's cut off, they have time now that it can be attached and it will work back. They never did, so that child is out. So this is the country where the buffer chamber came from the Liberian Senate, came from making $1,000 a month up to making 40 grand a month. Senator, and it's over 330 million people get paid that kind of money.
Thank you.
I have a budget for about 40 billion because local lawmakers make less than $1,000 a year. So there's a lot going on, and now once I don't see that, now when they're us that reporting, people who say they are being killed are also reporting. All the Facebook live that you're seeing people, the one I tell people, be careful where you put your face on. Because it will come back to haunt you. Time will come, you will have to speak. Our people up country, they're killing our people, they're raping, they're not just in Morovia. And then they're intimidating the people. If you find day by day and day by day quarter, you have to produce the killer. If you don't, then you are the killer. So they're harassing and intimidating people. And yes, we will be in Washington. Steve, I will call in. We'll be in Washington on the 31st of March. Congress will come out to meet us. So anyone listening to me, we will make our round when we have everything set in stone. And then you are Liberia, you need to stand up for what is right, for what is just. So there are other people. Tomorrow it could be you into your door. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I had another caller, but Sickle, if you have one, you can call him. Let me call this caller back.
We do have callers here. Call out 8871. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Fred. I'm calling from North Carolina.
How you doing, Fred?
I'm good. Thank you for the show today. I know you have provided a lot of information. This is a lot of information to absorb and to discuss them. So I will touch on, few things that were mentioned that were inaccurate. the one Steve read about sanction for Taylor, Ure, and the father, you know, that information, I don't think you should even be propounding it, because that's an inaccurate information that was probably put out there by River Livingstone. So that information is not correct. What has Taylor done to people on sanction? So that information is completely false, you know, and you shouldn't be, you know, expounding on it. You know, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, I want you to stick around a little bit so Steve can correct what you said. Steve, you want to correct it or you want to do that?
Yes, quick. Let me just correct quick so we can get to the next caller. Thank you, caller, for raising your concern. Please go back and listen to what I said. I did not say they were targeted sanction people. I said they could possibly, because the names were mentioned before this entire sanction thing could come up, that they are looking into them, and the document is there. It's clear. Whether that Livingstone sent it, whoever sent it, the fact that the names were implicated into that, they could possibly be on the sanction targeted list. So please get that clear.
And then you accurately said Nathaniel McGill is.
That information is inaccurate. I mean, Sarah Ure, with all due respect, what are they targeting of sanction? You know, that's just intimidation tactic because Ure to comment to code. That's all that came up.
Well, you maybe Steve, it's okay. Maybe Fred have more information than we do. In the near future, when
Nathaniel McGill was mentioned,
but McGill name was mentioned, and
first. Oh,
yeah, but they said attention being drawn to those people. That's what they say. They said that maybe they said they are looking at them. Well, whatever will be the decision against them, we don't know that. And Steve said they could possibly be, some of the people targeted. So I think that is right to say that.
And Steven, let me just make this clear. I'm not arguing with the government. I'm not a government operative, or no way. I'm not a citizen. But I just wanted to put that information over there. Sometimes those information will receive them.
That's okay.
Be careful what to put out there, because some of them are really, Steven, I know you are a very intelligent fellow. I will even encourage you to be putting those kind of information out there, because they are very
okay. All right. Thank you, brother.
Okay, brother. Thank you. So we got another caller. I got one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
What's up, Mose? Cyrus, man, from Minneapolis.
Cyrus Monk. Yeah, welcome to the show, my man. What's your input here? What's going on?
Well, I've been listening to the conversation, and you guys did a very great job. Just dissecting every segment of the whole stuff. The whole sanction, because the sanction is the Department of U.S. Treasury, so it's both political and economic sanction. It's two ways. It's not one. That's why it get to be very scary, and they got to be in the lookout. But like I told you, I can accurately predict how this guy government is going to end. And every time I call on the show, I keep making that point. You see, the whole thing about the comments portion is what got me. It's what triggered my curiosity here. Since 2003, the U.S. government has spent in excess of $3 billion on Liberia.
Yes.
Direct, indirect investment.
Yeah.
These guys, when we told them that sanction was coming months ago, this first they said it was a lie.
Right.
The second, they sent people to Washington to come and lobby with the American government, and the government refused to even work with them. That was a red flag. So how can you come and tell me that this guy who is running for office is the one pushing for sanction? Alexander Cummings doesn't decide how the U.S. make a foreign policy. He's not. Except you want to tell me that he's more powerful than Joe Biden, because even the president of the United States cannot undercut their foreign mission or their foreign activities.
Yes.
So you got three options here with the Cummings case. Either you are telling if Cummings is the one pushing for sanction, then why you got to worry about it? If he did nothing wrong, then you cannot be a federal sanction. That's the first scenario. Second scenario, like Sekou said, if Cummings is the only opposition leader pushing for sanction, then it means he must be a champion for good governance. He wants to see the best of Liberia. That's the only logical explanation you could get. Or, situation number three, then he's more powerful. That even if there is no need for sanction, he can come to Washington and arm twist lawmakers in here to undercut U.S. foreign policy. I don't know how people can even put logic on that kind of an argument. We all knew how the government was going to end up, and we're seeing it on full record with our very own eyes. The only question you can ask now, to what magnitude? Because like I keep telling Sekou, every dictator in Africa followed the same pattern. It happened repeatedly from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s to the 90s up to today's day. They come to power. Georgia, the fundamental doctrine of Georgia government is the Liberian people are afraid of, I mean, they are so tired of war, we can just come and abuse them. Look, second, there was not a perfect government in the history of Liberia. But there is no government in the history of Liberia that have abused the people and the constitution like we are government. From the day they took office, it was just one thing after another. And that's the notion that they have. We can just come in there. They never came to govern. We can just come and steal and abuse people. And if everybody's staying in our way, we will cut you down. That's why it's all about. So for the Alexander Cummings thing, this is just the tip of the iceberg. When we enter 2023, it's going to get worse than this. So I just hope, like I always call and say, I just hope he got contingency mental in place, particularly from a security standpoint, because that's why the guy will be looking for. They're looking for Pineda. They're looking for someone to be that punching bag. And who they see? They see Cummings. Cummings is the direct track to them, and they won't stop. Because for you to even insinuate that somehow Cummings is the one pushing for sanction is ludicrous. It makes absolutely no sense. You subvert your own government, you impose your own sanction with human rights violation, money laundering. We read a cross report. We read about the Marble exercise. We've seen people in the security forces being killed. We've seen auditor. Are you aware that Marvin Innes got an international case through the Beltway Irish minister? Are you aware of that? That the Beltway Irish minister filed a lawsuit with the International Criminal Court for Marvin Innes. So for you to tell me that Cummings is the one pushing for sanction, you gotta be kidding me, bro. Your day will come. I tell Georgia supporter, your day will come, and we're seeing it. The pieces, the puzzle pieces are coming together day by day, and we see it clear as day before 2023. Anyway, thanks for the time, bro.
Quick question. I want to ask you a question. Sarah, I want to ask you a question before you leave. Hello?
Yes.
I want to ask you a question. Ambassador McCarthy, the current U.S. ambassador, when he was appointed, most of us laid emphasis on his appointment, but not necessarily so. When he went for his confirmation, there was one major thing he struck on. But before I strike on, I think I want to state this about Ambassador McCarthy, where he worked, because most people don't understand where he worked. This guy has worked in tough terrains. Listen to where he worked. Ambassador McCarthy took up assignment as area manager official of the East Africa Division in the office overseeing buildings and operations, and as a country desk officer in the Office of West African Affairs, Bureau of African Affairs. So not only that, he also served overseas at the U.S. embassies in Montevideo, Uruguay, Colombo, Sri Lanka, and Bangkok, Thailand. My question to you is this. This guy, in his confirmation, focused on ensuring that they tackle corruption. Focus again. His focus was to tackle corruption based on these areas that were named, which are highly corrupt areas, tough areas to serve in, because you are targeted by bad people as ambassador, pushing. These people will come after you. What do you think the role of Ambassador McCarthy is? What is the role he's played strategically to uncover, unravel some of this information?
We don't have to focus on McCarthy. Whether it was a confirmation, whether it's his own philosophy he comes to when it comes to corruption.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is Georgia's sanction was not a matter of if, it was just a matter of when it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. From the day this guy entered office, when it came to asset declaration, this president, he used auto I don't know what kind of word to use to hide his own fortune or the money that he claimed that he had at the time. So we all knew that the sanction was just a matter of when. They were saying about it. From the days of this guy, the Chris guy, the guy from New Jersey, Chris Smith, we see one after another.
Right.
All the guys, they all working together. They didn't know exactly what they are doing. But yeah, it's my point. For you to claim that a political leader is the one pushing sanction first, and then you keep reaffirming the same reason the American people are telling you putting a sanction on you. Because don't forget now,
Yes.
this current case is a political case in court.
Right.
You see it? So it's also under the same group governing the rule of law, the Constitution.
Exactly.
If that sanction was imminent, and you're telling me it was a political leader that triggered the sanction, but then you got the same case in court trying to play politics. Like, you're implicating yourself.
Exactly.
But, I don't want to take too much of that time.
Thank you.
I'll let other people to call in, but we're right there. Yes, man.
Thank you, bro.
I'm trying to make it Sekou and Steve.
Yes, sir. Well, the areas
Yeah.
that they got worked.
Yeah.
Mr.
So
President?
so I have all the callers here. So
Yes,
let
please.
me before I take the callers, Steve, let me tell you something. The ambassador, the United States itself, and everybody that are focusing on Liberia, trust me, they know more than we know. They know more than we can talk here. Even we ourselves. You know, every time we will mention Matthew Innes, people say, oh, Sekou, they will come, they will take a defensive posture. You listen to Cyrus, right? That the case of Matthew Innes has reached to the International Criminal Court. People will be indicted. Just watch and see. Caller, what is your name and where you calling from? 678. The last four is 5336. 5736.
Yeah, Sekou, thank you. This your girl, Madeline from Minnesota.
Hey, that's my girl that run away from me. That one, you I fire you now. The other sister, you fire. How are you?
Thank you, Sekou. To your co-worker, thank you for making it so simple for people to understand, because when you listen to Spoon, all they do is just go from one person to one person, kaka story. You can hear CDC making noise on our show. Thank you for making it simple for the Mamusu in Liberia to understand. Because the time they're supposed to take when somebody child get raped, to send police car there to make sure that child is in the hospital. When somebody child, they cut their tongue out of their mouth, they rape them and cut their tongue out of their mouth. Some agents say, Kwame Opa with the policeman to go pick a child and rush them to the hospital. That's the Liberian Department of Police. That's their duty to make sure they have emergency in place to rush a child to hospital and replace the tongue. JFK refused the child. There's a president in Liberia sitting down and doing nothing. The man Musu there, the man Mata there in Liberia, you open your ears. There's a time and season for everything. This season, they are targeting Liberian little girls and boys. But tomorrow, one day it will be over. You protect your children in that darkness you're living in. You hold on to your children, because in the United States, as old as I am, I can go to the store and go buy beer. They will still ask me for my driver lesson. But your little children then is sending them to go buy beer. There's some men who are there in the room. You're sending them to go buy this. You wash your children and take care of your children in Liberia. We beg you, please. Oh, Sekou, thank you for having me, Papa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. For a very long time, I never heard about Kakalika. The Kakalika thing, the last time I heard about that was back home. Anyway. But yes, indeed, it's very important that we take our time to explain to our people. I think the other line is rather to Steve, and now you look at Steve step away. So if you are calling that line, it's not going through. Let me try to write it back to my phone, so that way we can have. This is rather to Steve's number, so that's why probably the calls are not coming through. So let me change the number here. So the 480-401-2081. Call that number back. It will come back to me. People been trying 2081. So any of the number you can call, even the WhatsApp number too. If you are out of the country, if you are outside of the country, you can call that number. That is the 202. And after the show today, I would like to see my sister Madeline, Telco, Musu and other people there to come and do the kakaleka thing. So for a long time, I've never seen it. Caller, what is your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, thank you, man. My name is Rufus. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Rufus, how are you?
I'm fine. Stiko, and then I'm calling Stiko, yeah.
Yes, sir.
And Steve, thank you guys so much. I've been following the show this morning. This is my very first time on the show. And I want to say thank you guys ever so much for the show this morning. I mean, this afternoon something here. Yeah, when I saw that resolution yesterday, and I came on last night, I went on my computer, I went on the website, and I was reading it. I was telling my wife, I was like, wow, this thing has been trending around, and now it's coming to light. But for you guys to really take your time to go, especially Steve, to read it paragraph by paragraph, and for you to elaborate on it, that is a very fantastic job done. And I want to say to my brother Steve, thank you so much for the information. You know, like the last caller was just saying, you know, those are important issues in Liberia where people going to make politics out of it, they're going to make bureaucracy out of it. Like when you go on Spoon Talk, you get nothing but nonsense. I'm sorry to say this. I'm one of the person who followed Spoon for a very long time. And I got so frustrated because when we used to hear that Center Water Spoon is an honor cover for CDC, some undoubted, and we begin to follow him. I was even when we have my work, I always have, because of Spoon TV, I have a lot of Bluetooth. When they want to go, I put it on my ear just to be able to catch up with Spoon show. But where Stanton Lincoln Sanction was the time he said he was greeting the Georgia government. When Stanton said peace, freedom of speech, he gave 100% of freedom of speech, and he greeted Georgia government the way he greeted it. And then when Stanton, when people were making comments, Stanton wanted to make a comment, he shut Stanton down and all that kind of stuff. For them, we knew that Stanton Wilson was a fake person. And let me tell you something, the Sanction should not only go to those in Liberia, but she also goes to those in America here, playing games, smart games with the Liberian people. You see the Liberian people money, opening talk show, making themselves flamboyant, calling them rich men, and this and that. Then they go after all of them. This is about our country, Liberia. Yeah, this is about our country, Liberia. Thank you so much. But we hope and we pray. This is what we've been praying for. We've been silent. But I tell you what, 2023, Georgia will never see Liberia. We will campaign for door to door. Someone we're getting ready. We'll make sure. We don't have talk show. We call talk show once a while and make a contribution. But we are hurt, my brother. Just go to Liberia. I don't know how long, when we said some of you guys get to Liberia, the country is bleeding. The country, people are suffering. Liberians, the Liberia we know, the Liberia we came from, the Liberia we know, even with all the poverty, when we come to America, we're happy to go back home because when we go back home, we have fun. When you go to Liberia now, if you go there, you will be sorry, you will be feeling for people too. I went to Liberia, but in 2 weeks I was broke. Only because of sorry for people.
Yeah. Thank you.
Country that you want to call. But thank you so much. And Steve, whosoever that say what, you guys said it before, and today coming to pass. So what do you have to say now? I mean, you keep doing your job. Today, you explain to them day by day. You talk about like this, some other people coming on, like what the other one I was telling you, you are intelligent, but you don't put that information out. Those are the complexity complexities like we're talking about. The information I gave on front page Africa yesterday and front page Liberia, the front page Africa in Liberia yesterday. The airline was there big. Then he told Steve or Colonel not to put information, they kind of information out. So what are the person that put it out in Liberia on the Liberia newspaper now? So the guy can read, so they see it, I mean, the director of that is can read or he doesn't know what to put it out. But they will see. Now how will Liberians our teach their kind of claim that I do, we always say they are fully stopped. But thank God, the American people have seen the crowd of the Liberian people and they are ready now to level with us.
Thank you.
Government, even after power, will still chase them out. They will pay for everything they did.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much.
Well,
Steve, we have another caller here.
huh?
Still have a caller. Still have callers here.
Yeah, let's take that and hopefully we can close up right after the caller from you because I'm getting on it and I'm not taking.
What is your name? Where you calling from? Last 4 DJ is 4100.
Yes, Sekou, good afternoon to you, Steve. Again, this is Japa Maxwell Hooks. I seem to be becoming one of your regular callers. Let me thank you and Steve for flagging the issues that are raised since yesterday from the U.S. Congressional sanction hearing. I mean, not hearing, but
Resolution.
eminent sanction that is thinking. Resolution that is hanging over Liberia. Look, and Sekou, by the way, let me. Why I don't choose to use your platform as a campaign point, but I am one of the contestants. I have declared my intention to contest in District 2 in Grand Crew County because that's where I come from. And you know, a lot of the things I tell my people, Liberia is at a crossroad. 2023, the world is watching. Liberia is at a crossroad. But even though we expect that you will make the change, you are the one, if you choose to go with the status quo, you are the one on the ground. You are the one who have the shoes on your feet. And you know where the shoes pinches. If you are satisfied with the way you are walking, if you are satisfied with the way things are in Grand Crew County, in Grand Crew County in particular, and in Liberia in general, vote the same way you have voted. But take, for example, and I like the action that the U.S. government has begun to take. First, to set the first precedent against the wife of the foreign minister, declaring her personal non grata. So that should tell Liberians that America is ready. We've played with our country for so long.
Hold on one second. That is the information that many people may not be aware. Can you speak about that again? Who was declared personal non grata?
The wife of the foreign minister.
By who?
The wife of the foreign minister. By the U.S. government. The information is not official yet, and I'm not supposed to make that official yet. But Sekou, Liberia is at a crossroad. There is the abuse and violation of our constitution, of our laws consistently since Mr. George Weah became president. And I have told my people, this is not about this person I am from the same section, this person is my tribal brother, this person is my kinsman. We have to make decisions that benefit the country 2023. This country has degenerated since George Weah became president. Imagine the number of persons in Liberia who could not pay $10 rent. They live in Zayshak. Who could not pay $10 rent. In less than a year or 2 or 3 years have become millionaires overnight. They are abusing our resources in the country. They are violating our laws. They brutalize our citizens. They abuse the laws of the country. They take advantage of too many things. So some of us are happy that the U.S. government is proceeding the way it has begun to proceed. And we will continue to call on our respective congressional leaders. From the state of Iowa, I have written a letter to the office of Chuck Grassley. I called before and I've written a letter to his office to work along, and we are appealing to him in my communication to work along with other congressional leaders to bring sanction on key individuals in Liberia. Look, the people might not like it. They say, in our rule, we killing Liberian news, we put in Liberian. No, it is not all the citizens. If it were, we wouldn't be supporting our families and friends in Liberia. The millions or billions of dollars we remit every year is because we love our country. But we don't want to see our country degenerate for us to go back to the same 14-15 year civil crisis.
Thank you, sir.
So we must applaud, every good citizen must applaud the U.S. government for the sanction it is beginning, or for the steps it is beginning to take on Liberia.
Thank you.
Let the world watch and let the world see where we are, that we mean business in 2023. That if we don't make a 360-degree U-turn, and because the opposition, according to them, because the opposition is split, and so you go and re-elect George Weah, man, I'm telling you,
Thank you.
What is going to, Liberia is going to eat grass.
Yeah, my brother.
To make the attempt to re-elect Joshua and re-elect the same group of people that have plunged this country into abysses of dodging.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
You and Steve.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
For being explicit on the issue and propelling the issue in the ears of our people. Now, I don't want to take up most of your time, so I know you got a lot of callers.
Yeah.
But I appreciate, this interaction all the time.
No problem.
And,
thank you, sir.
And let me say thank you again.
Yep, thank you. We appreciate it. One last call.
That man will charge that man next time for running a campaign on the show.
We invited him to come talk about a platform, Google. Caller, what is your email? Where are you calling from? 651 number. The last 4 digits is 2632.
Yes, this is Miss Linda. I'm calling from Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. Go ahead.
Brother Bullet and Brother Sekou, I appreciate everything you guys have done and continue to do.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful that we are now getting at a crossroad. But the question I have for the government of the the government of Liberia. Bullet, I love you. You said Liberian women are the most beautiful women. Yes. Liberia are the most beautiful women because we are mixed. The DNA has proven that, my nephew then had his history, like your family tree or so. When this fifth grader did the research, asked your grandmom, your mom, and then the instructor told the fifth grader that, look, 99% American have relatives in Africa and African have relatives in America, based upon that research the fifth grader did, right? So definitely Liberian women are the most beautiful women. The reason why I'm going this far, let me get to Cumming. Do you know why Cumming is being attacked?
No.
Have anyone realized why he's attacked? Because we all went to school, and in this great United States, the entire world created by God, live in this nation, right? But why everyone obey the law? American women are very beautiful. And yes, the policy of white American are where they, yes, we are, Liberian are beautiful, okay? But the fact of the matter, when he started his campaign, choices of voice matter. You go to college, they will always tell you, go to university, they will tell you, it can break you, it can make you. When Cummings arrived, one of the choices of voice he used, he said, the rule of law must work. The rule of law. And you know why? 99% of everyone living in Liberia that are working with this government, they live here. Why they didn't rape any American child? Why an American lady was not raped in a hotel and escaped? So the next thing I want you guys to do, I want to have you guys informed. I work in this country as election judge for 6 years with one of the city, okay? And as election judge, it has empowered me. There are positions people shouldn't be appointed for. We understand, I have asked an engineer friend, why can't Liberia have a state? And he said, we don't have that, we have not reached that level to have it. When a superintendent, any government comes to power, when the president appoints a superintendent, according to the United States, where the citizens live, the resources belongs to them. The resources belong to the citizen. And do you know we also vote for a police officer? We vote for state trooper. Any position, because let's take for example, right? The superintendent for any of the county, Grand Junior or whatever, a president can order him to take certain load of resources. He wants to ship to certain place. He's appointed. There are some positions when Cummings or whoever become president ready to build that nation. In fact, the Attorney General that visited Cummings, I heard their discussion. This man came for a purpose. So the rule of law in America, Nigeria, everyone came here, the entire world lived in here, but no one raped these kids. Why are they raping the kids? I would say our because I'm a mother. I have a son. I would always say our. Why are they raping the women? The last time I was in Liberia was during Taylor regime. And this is something I saw. I also cried when it was during the World Cup, right? I don't know whether this whole thing is retaliation. When we are got to the penalty box, President, we are got the penalty box, he turned the boy around. And I saw Liberia, I wept. I saw Liberian throwing things at him. You see, Liberia, you guys will learn your lesson. You don't vote based on tribe. The entire tribe in the whole world live in America. But when it comes to America, everybody unified. The next thing I want to say, whoever becomes president, because I'm optimistic, is now problem might be between JB and Cummings. I really don't know from what I'm hearing, but we need a system. And Cummings have always mentioned rule of law. It is the rule of law that everyone, whether you 419, you watch, you live in America, they obey the law. We need a gigantic prison compound. Look, I'm sponsoring some kids in that place. I'm sponsoring some girls. We need women in the what they call it, law area. Whoever comes, if you have to give our girls free education or scholarship, let our women, because from the time the American women campaign, guess what happened when they were preparing law against rape? You know one of the things I watched my lawmakers say? They said, even when your husband is having sex with you, and you say stop, he should stop. If you don't stop, it's a rape. Can you imagine that? We need more girls because the system is not working. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, Steve,
Hold on,
I think yeah. I don't remember her name. I think her name is Linda. I don't remember the last name, but I think the first name is Linda, I guess.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Kenneth. Thanks to our viewers, our listeners, those of you who couldn't call in or who we don't have the time to bring in your calls. We are very sorry we draw the curtains here for the day. Mr. Kenneth, thank you for being my guest today. We look forward to having you on for more of these kind of interactions.
Next week, you will be my guest.
For more of these kind of interactions, you know.
But it's important. I enjoy it. It's good.
Yes. We look forward to more of this conversation. Thursday, we'll be back. Unless something happens, then maybe we might have an emergency show. But in the meantime, we're sure to be here on Thursday by the grace of God. Representative Yeke Kolba reminded you yesterday in a joking fashion or so forth to buy a ticket for the Champions League match. Tomorrow we'll be following at the Capitol building, the House of Representatives. We hope that nothing dramatic, no noise will be there. They will do their regular business as usual, or the Liberian people's business, but I call it their regular business. Those will be the announcements for now. We look forward to having a good week. We'll be here. As information comes, we'll unveil it to the people free of charge. SKTV, that's why we're here to provide, the facts. Some people might not like it, but again, what can we do? What can we say? Mr. Kane, back to you. And the team, I'm discussing that, just speaking cool. It can be happening at Sony. Just position A. Everything's fine. Everything okay, compressing. I see you.
All right. I'm here. So folks, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for following SKTV, as always. We are here for you. We will always be here. We appreciate everything you do. We will not be here when you're not here. We know why it takes, to stick around for more than 2 hours. Normally, the show is scheduled for just 2 hours. I know some of you here don't even like to see us, go. But, every good thing must come to an end. We really enjoy. Before I go, though, sometimes it's okay for us to scrutinize each other. I'm talking about the platforms, the news media. The news media, we have to sometimes scrutinize each other to infuse some sanity within there. But we will speak on some of these issues moving forward. We promise that anything against the Liberian people or anybody against the Liberian people will expose you and will discuss you. That's why we are all responsible for what we do, and we should try not to mislead the Liberian people. Let's do the right thing. That's the only thing we can do. But yes, nobody is exempted. We will go and talk about some actions of some media outlets out there. Let's be constructive. Let's be responsible. Let's do what is right. But yes, we will talk about you, and you can talk about us if you want. If you think we are not doing the right thing, call our attention, criticize us all you want. Maybe we can learn from the criticism. But you should also be open to such. I just want to put that out there. So if you are a social media platform, or maybe a radio station or a television station, if we see you as someone who's trying to enrich themselves or mislead at the expense of the Liberian people, or mislead the Liberian people, give false information simply because you want to be on the good side of the government, we will put you under the microscope and discuss you and give you an idea as to what you need to change. We will do it. You can do it to us too. It's fine with us. But we want everybody to do the right thing. If we want to advocate for Liberia, let's do it with honesty, with fairness, and not to mislead our people. That's very important. Media is very important. Don't abuse the people. Do not abuse the opportunity that you have. It's not good. Some people may be quiet on it, but not everybody will be quiet. Some of us will talk. You have a good day. We love you, and we hope, you will do what is right.
Yeah, Evio, Sama Lulu, Point Gangster, Kawakado, Hamatiti, yeah, Masini Gato, la Makai, Mabe Sofeni, Puzoni Mabawa Jukunkuru, Kaga Sofeli, Walito Lolo Kuma, Deba Petit Sapini, make up Suzuka doing your love, Coca Davani, Masini Gato, la Makai, Mabe Sofeli, Puzoni Mabawa Jukunkuru, Kaga Sofeli, Walito Lolo Kuma, Deba Petit Sapini, make up Suzuka doing your love, Coca Davani, yeah. Yeah, the Coca Davani, Nega Suzuka doing your love, Coca Davani, yeah, the Coca Davani. Mama nanya foli kedia ijo Johnny Dollar. Fitina sweet and muluku wole peti milo. Gololo take a fene carefone gato okolo. Nanuka masemba rapping no man den woto jilo. Asiama kona fito mino nyangana mambile. Nagda munyabo kela na kai museke na gole. Kasala fele titi kaka gato kana sole. Na vagabonde nego mine neti para mole. Pisi e peti jugun kabo luma motenele. Jana ma waki shaka na fibe tato yene. Jana ma kona mago jazin to tolona yeno. Swetene ka waki zikala kadi daja Flau na file kasi la kwa la fe kataluma Na petite ama inga lolo te toni kela Nanga bandoze la kanzo vedende konde bola Na mo ukasi la bo ese nema kwe dola Gabana oma komanasa ali sosila Na mo mikitu enga mala ibeta kabrusola Ala machito nono mbeba okola sala Na mala mulu lo fela je ulu kola tala Fetani dul ma doni keba hanfa tele saba Dunya gwale na solo la ulfa ma yeni keba Nane kanyado mboni zeno kufui vana Siso engele fene titi kane salamina Amite nula dunye bani anfa ala bala Nitolo na kwiseni na nemulu do ifala Watala siya ya kolo mojala siya gbala Aiko kwa kune maimbo ese kune ne kana Mambila poli ni noye sa ya fe hamitena Adama deme poisson ni do na basite wela Kwenye ka pigin gwanu ngungwa nende dana dola Kafaka ponya swite na to nonde sila bona Masini gato la makai mabe sofeni Boso nyuma bawa jukunkulu kaka sofeli Walito lolo kuma deba peti sapeni Nega ko susuka dunyon lobe koka dafani Masini gato la makai mabe sofeni Boso nyuma bawa jukunkulu kaka sofeli Walito lolo kuma deba peti sapeni Nega ko susuka dunyon lobe koka dafani Beko kwa dafani Nega ko susuka dunyon lobe koka dafani Jana ma Moses la bode ale to farafina. Wadi tuku musu ya kolo woto jalabina. Na follow diana dulu nyene kunya dulu kano. No gane gangsta lele dini mate jalabilo. Kifi de kibo takaba kajala finti nyala. Maloni soko na titika dota puna bola. Klopu onyami jije gbani mabe nyani nyona. Adulu ya makan foto takata nyabo kala. Nika fa pito lolo ye na apololi nyala. Nego uko nyabola. Makote mosilela. Nona ti finye nyala. Zini nekola sala. Miro na impose la. Mulu la don jula. Kwenye kapigi masule ni nute siana konye. Madani bunya le bunya o jaje di la bebe. Kwe labi masa makala. Laki ne we madebe. Jamana diani katimi. Yuya si pe hotele. Kono fi masa amate kazoko be mademe. Ato ma jadu ya la ban labi le tato nyefe. Juku jani jini no mafia de tafe tife. Kada mesa izaba ma weba o jago